everyone. Welcome back to No Sugar with Everything Krause. We hope you are having a beautiful week. And we want to talk to you guys about something that literally just occurred in our lives, like yesterday. But we got a lot of DMs and questions asking about it. So we're going to talk about it. And that is fasting, which might come as a shock to feel like some people, because we're not big like fasters in a sense of like fasting from food. This is literally the first time I've ever done an extreme fast longer than like 12 hours or 15 hours. So we just got some DMs and we wanted to talk about it, why we decided to do it, the benefits of doing a 24-hour fast, and
how we were feeling.
Yeah, I feel like also
expect.
talking from experience too, of like how we actually felt during it. Was it hard? Was it easy? Did it suck? Yes, no. So we just want to get into it and again have that open conversation with you guys to give you some insight, maybe inspire you to try it if you have been interested in doing it, and go from there. Really where this came from was kind of out of the blue. Isabel said it to me on Sunday, literally the day before, and was like, I'm thinking about maybe doing like a 24-hour fast. And I, for some reason, when she said it, I immediately was like, ooh, I think I want to. Like, I feel like we were both just craving a reset. Like that's how I look at a fast, is a complete reset for your body. And like I said, I've never done one before, so I didn't even know what that looked like or what it would feel like. But for some reason, when you said it, I just felt like, yeah, let's try it. Let's just do it. I don't know. Like we have been.
Yeah. I just feel like on the weekends a little bit, like I get so excited for the weekend that I'm like not speaking out of, I just feel like recently we've been indulging, not in like a bad way, but no, in a bad way.
Yeah.
Not in the amount of food that we're eating, but almost like romanticizing eating so much. Where like I get so excited to sit on the couch at night to watch our movie and to have like our lineup of snacks, even if they're all clean ingredient. I just like can't wait to have like, okay, let's have our potato chips, let's have our cookies, like let's have everything. And I just felt like I had this, not obsession with food, but I just was getting too addicted to that feeling of being excited to eat. And I felt like I needed to break that. I needed to like force myself to like, no, you need to step back from that. It almost felt like it was time for a fast.
No, literally. And for like our digestion, our body to literally just reset and like give it a break. I feel like that's so normal to do that too, of romanticizing food, especially as females. Like it is a thing for females. We have what is called literally food noise, where like you're thinking about the food, you're getting excited about it. Like every day we wake up, we're excited for our coffee. Like we don't have a black coffee. We have a coffee with milk and maple syrup. So tastes freaking delicious and we love it. So every day we had that. And then it was like moving on to like, we just never gave our digestion a break. And I think on the weekends, it's when we're more relaxed. You know, we're not working out at night. We're whatever. We're just pulled back from the normal routine. So like you said, we want to watch a movie. We want to snuggle up and eat snacks. And it was just time. It was time. So that's where it came from, fully transparently. Like, and then it would come time to Monday morning. I'm like, I feel like crap because I feel like I ate all weekend, even though when I look at it, I'm like, okay, you didn't go that crazy, but mentally it made me feel like I was going crazy.
Yeah, it was more of a mental effect than it was physical. Like I wasn't like beating up my body or like upset with my body and felt like I gained weight. It was more of like,
I feel like I was getting addicted to the feeling of the food. And that's what food is. Like food is an addiction, especially when that's what junk food companies want to do, want to get you addicted to the food. And like Isla said, we were having clean ingredient ones, but I think we were getting addicted to that dopamine release that we would get when we would eat the snacks, when we would be watching the movie. And
like too much of my fun was associated with the food.
And I feel like even just admitting that and being like, okay, it's time to pull back, it already has made me more aware today of like, okay, are you hungry or are you just looking to eat because it's that time of the day that you normally eat something or you normally grab for a snack? So I feel like I needed to almost tell my body, like, we're going to pull back. This is what it's like to not have food and you can survive without it as well.
I also felt like I was craving a sense of discipline on, I don't know, I was craving that restriction, having to force myself to not be able to eat because I loved it so much. I just wanted that, like, that dose of like, you're stronger than your mind, you can do this. And I feel like fasting is like the best way to do that. Like we just said, we had that kind of addiction and I really just wanted to like prove that no, it doesn't have control over you. I just it was something I wanted to like mentally do for myself. So I felt like my body and also my soul was really craving it.
Yeah, I think when you remove the food from it, even looking at it from that standpoint for sure, because I don't think I even realized I was going into it with that. But then now being on the outside of it, I'm like, yeah, that was a great way to build like quick confidence and quick discipline, was to literally not allow yourself to. And when Isabel and I say we're going to do something, like we have to do it. So yesterday,
it's like a blessing and a curse.
yeah, it was like 11 a.m. and I get home from teaching class. Isabel's at her desk and we both just looked at each other. And like the first thing we said was like, we want our coffee. Like it wasn't even breakfast that I wanted. Like I wanted my coffee so bad.
Same.
We almost broke multiple times because we were like, why are we doing this?
Well,
like,
because to be completely honest, like I said it to Kateri on Sunday, like I may do a fast. Then we never discussed it.
And we just like did it.
And then we like woke up and we realized we both weren't eating because we were like, wait, are we doing this fast?
Yeah.
We didn't really commit to it until we realized, oh wait, we're in it.
Exactly. And then it was like, why are we doing this? What's the point? I'm hungry. I have a headache because I'm not drinking caffeine, which we're going to get into how we're feeling. But so there were many times when we were like questioning everything.
Yeah.
But again, when we didn't give in to that and we just were like, know what, just keep going. Let's just keep going. Let's make a cup of tea right now. I feel like, again, that's building that discipline muscle without us even realizing it was doing until now looking back on it. But okay, so let's get into the actual fast that we did, benefits of it, all a little bit more of like the science behind the actual fast, the hours, things like that. And then we'll kind of go into our experience with it and how we were feeling. So starting off, we decided to do, so we fasted all day Monday. So technically we did almost like a 36-hour fast. We stopped eating Sunday night around 10 p.m. and then fasted all day Monday. And we ate our first meal, so to speak, around 7:30, 8:30 for Isabel on Tuesday morning. So over 24 hours, and very specifically choosing to not eat all day as well. You could technically do something like this. Say you stopped eating at noon on Sunday and decided to eat at noon on Monday, still 24 hours, something like that. But we decided just to take the whole day off from eating for a very specific reason, sciencey. We'll get into that.
Well, because the key is the longer that you fast, the more hours that you go, the more that happens within the body. 24 hours, I feel like, is the period of the fast where it just gives your digestion system like really a break. I feel like that's the only thing that really happens within at least the first 12 hours. It's just your body slowing down and you're using the stored food within your body rather than continuous food that you're still putting into it. So we decided to do that because we knew that if we got into like the 36-hour range, more things would be happening. We'd be experiencing more benefits. So we, of course, recommended the way that we did it just because I felt like it was very easy to go to the 36-hour mark because we did it at night. Technically, our fast would have been over at 10 p.m. on Monday, but it was very easy to just go to bed and get that extra like 8 to 10 hours of fasting because we just like basically slept through that fasting period.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of like a little cheat code. Just use sleep during those hours. It makes it very helpful, especially when you're near the kitchen or you're smelling food and you're just like, oh my gosh, I could eat anything right now. Just go to bed. It makes it a heck of a lot easier. And also I think, like Isabel was saying, the greatest benefit from doing a fast, especially anything over 12 hours, but even if you did a 12-hour fast, like Isabel said, you're giving your body a break. So you're giving your digestive system like time to pull back. You're giving it a break from food, from processing new food, storing. And I, like Isabel and I were saying of why we even did it, I feel like we were never giving our body a break from processing food. Like that's what I felt like I was doing. Even if I was hungry, I literally was eating dinner on Sunday night and I was like, I'm just like eating to eat dinner right now. I feel like I didn't even need more food and I was just giving my body more food to process and break down. And I knew I needed to pull back from that. So that's one of the big things about fasting is just giving your body a pause to reset and use what it already has too. It's kind of crazy. Like you're like, oh, you're not eating all day. Yes, I was hungry, but I didn't die. I didn't collapse. I could work out. It's not like I couldn't do anything. Like we don't realize how much energy we already have in our body from the food, from the things that we drink, like already that we're consuming. Your body can do a lot with that already.
Mm-hmm. Like it literally takes the first 12 hours of your fast to even tap into using that store food. Mm-hmm. Like it's still processing all the food that you had in it from the beginning of the fast before it taps into like the stored nutrients that are in your body. So to just give you perspective, like 12 hours that takes. And I like how this person put it that we were researching about a fast. When that pause is long enough, your body switches from use what I just ate to clean up and repair. And I feel like we were also really craving that because like Kateri just said, I don't remember the last time I felt like a hunger pain. Mm-hmm. Like I was eating dinner because it was dinner time, but I wasn't necessarily hungry for dinner. And maybe that's a sign that I have to maybe be eating a little bit more intuitively rather than just like the clock that society kind of tells us to follow. But I loved how they really said that.
Yeah, I feel like that's a great way of putting it. And so in these first 12 hours, right, like we keep talking about them, and like I feel like 12-hour spurts is kind of like a good way to break up a fast and the benefits of it. In the first 12 hours, like we said, you're giving your body that break. It's starting to get that reset here. Things are like starting to become in motion. Nothing crazy dramatic is happening, but your blood sugar is starting to stabilize more. Your insulin levels are starting to drop, and your, like I said, your digestion is just taking that break, and you're still finishing up recent food that you had in the past 12 hours or 12 hours ago. So it's just like this initial push. 12 to 24 hours is when you're really going to start to see different changes, maybe not physically see, obviously, but when your body's going to start experiencing changes. And then you have that 24 to 36 hour window where the benefits get even greater. So kind of where we're going to focus more on the benefits is in that 12 to 36 hour range of what is happening, what's going on.
Okay, so from 12 to 24, I liked how Kateri said, like, this is where you start to know, where things start happening more in the body that you don't notice. I feel like the 24 to 36 is more of like the, not exactly physical changes, but more important effects happening within your body. So 12 to 24, it's really just your glycogen stores are mostly depleted. Your body's switching into that fat burning. Like we just said, it takes that 12 hours to tap into those storage units. Insulin stays low, your growth hormones are increasing, and your inflammation starts to go down. That's when your body really starts depuffing and your inflammation starts to decrease. It's also, I felt like when I hit the 12 to 24 hour mark, it's also when I started feeling a little bit more mental clarity. I felt like when your body really depletes itself of everything in it and it's really tapping into like anything it can find for energy, you just get this like, I don't know, like shot of mental clarity where
it's so true.
You just start thinking in a different way because you're forced to, like we said, you're still going. You're not like dying and you're laying on the ground because you can't think straight. You're actually thinking a little bit more clearer because I feel like you don't have that food noise in your brain either, like giving you lack of clarity. I don't really know how to describe it.
Even Monday morning, like when I woke up, obviously this was like the day of the start of the fast, but by the time I was working out and teaching my first class, I normally don't eat in that time frame anyway. So to me, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm fasting, I'm hungry, I should be eating right now. But during the class, I remember like looking at myself in the mirror and was like, yes, I like am actually excited for today because I did feel that brain fog. Like when I woke up in the morning, and it was probably just from like the weekend of eating is when I ate out on Saturday night because we like literally had no food and we're traveling. So we had to eat out. So like all that stuff I feel like was literally coming to my mind on Monday morning. And like you said, by that 12-hour mark, I do feel like that's when this like mental clarity started to kick in a little bit more. And I like didn't have all this like fog in my mind. I was like, okay, like maybe I didn't have the most amount of energy, but my mental clarity was there. And it was even around, I feel like that 12-hour mark, maybe it was like a little bit later, but I feel like those hunger cues of like feeling really hungry weren't really there too. Like in the morning when it was around the time I normally eat, my stomach started to growl. Like it was for sure there. But then I kind of just got past that. And it was like, okay, yes, I'm hungry, but it wasn't like this incessant like hunger pain, like the growling noise your stomach makes. I didn't have that all day. And I kind of thought that I would. Like it was subtly there, but it wasn't the most prominent thing in the world.
Well, I think that's when your body realizes like, wait, I'm not getting food.
Yeah.
Go find other food in my body to use.
And exactly what Isabel said. So in the first 12 hours, we're still relying on glycogen, which are the carbs in our body. After that, we're running out of that. So our body then taps into the fat burning. So that's like truthfully why people will cycle in and out of fasting. Like that's one of the effects is your body will start to burn the fat that you have, which is a great benefit, getting rid of some of that. And fat can give us energy. It does. So switching from carbs to fat in the body, we're burning more. So you are using energy in that way, but in a great way when you look at it. So like if you're just constantly eating, you're kind of always filling up your glycogen levels, right? Like if you think about it like that, like even after doing this, I'm like, I might need to incorporate this like once a month type of situation. Like, or whenever I'm really craving it, I don't want to like force it, but whenever like we were craving it, right? That's why we did it. We knew that we almost needed to do this for ourselves.
Well, and that's why I don't like promoting fasting for weight loss at all, because I don't think that's like a healthy way of thinking. But I just feel like if you're someone who's at a point where you feel like you've been eating so clean and you've been trying, but you don't feel like you're losing weight, I feel like a fast is a great reset, because like Kateri says, our glycogen levels are, if they're constantly stored, your body's never tapping into that fat. So all the fat that you are eating is storing as fat on your body. And I feel like you need to give your body a chance. That's why people recommend like, you know, that's why people pay attention to calories, because if they take in less calories or less grams or less carbs, then they are tapping more into that fat. That's kind of the science behind the keto diet and the paleo diet. But I think you just really need to give your body a chance to tap into burning that fat to kind of kickstart systems within your body. And I feel like when I hear people fast for 24 hours and then start their clean eating journey, they have a lot better effects and better results. But now I kind of want to get into the 24-hour mark to the 36-hour, because this is really the sweet spot. This is why we chose to do the times that we particularly did, because we wanted to get into that time period of 24 to 36, because this is really where the most important thing happens, where your autophagy ramps up. And I want to explain very plainly for you guys, like, what autophagy is. It literally means self-eating, but I don't want that to sound scary to you guys, because we like to think of it as just like your cells taking out the trash, right? This is where your broken cell parts get recycled. This is where misfolded proteins get cleared, dysfunctional cells get removed, and new healthier cells replace them. So this is single-handedly one of the most important parts of the fast, of what's happening in your body.
Your body's legitimately becoming more efficient because it's replacing those damaged cells, which we all have. We all experience. It's literally changes immune system cells and says, oh, which ones like aren't working, which ones are dead, gets rid of them and brings in new ones. Like it's kind of wild when you think about like what this does in your body. And even going through all this right now, I'm like mad at myself yesterday for even contemplating breaking it, because I'm like, you didn't even realize like what was happening in your body and like how much you were going to benefit from this. Now being on the other side of it, of course I see it. So that's why we want to really give you guys these benefits, to be like, hey, this can be a great tool that you use in your toolbox if you are on a weight loss journey, if you're on a fitness journey, if you're just on a self-improvement journey, biohacking, longevity. Like, this is a great tool. And now I understand a little bit more of like why people talk about it so much. Don't think I'll ever be the person that's going to intermittent fast every day.
I don't think that's healthy for our hormones.
Well, and I think and we'll get into this a little bit too, of like, as females, we of course have a much longer cycle than men. Men are on a 24-hour clock. Doing a fast like this will affect them differently. It doesn't matter what time of the month they do it. It doesn't matter what day of the week they do it. It doesn't matter. For us, it matters a little bit more. We'll explain that like on a very surface level a little bit later, but continuing to go through.
I like to think of the autophagy as like maintenance for your body, because why would you want broken things in your body? Why would you want things that aren't working in your body? Why would you want them to stay there, right? If your car was broken, you take it to the shop and have it get fixed in 24 hours so that you can drive it again. This is maintenance for your body. Give yourself that 24-hour reset. Let your cells repair. Let the bad things clear out and new things come in, and your body will feel like brand new. That's how I like to think of it.
Well, and I feel like today is really where I'm seeing, like me personally, where I feel that mental clarity like even more, because now I've eaten today, I've had my coffee, like I'm back on not like a complete normal routine. I'm not trying to like just eat a bunch of food now, but I feel like I'm feeling that energy boost that doing that fasting gave me. And I feel like for women, I guess we might as well just get into this. This is like the perfect amount of time to do something, but not be so restrictive where we're like starving our hormones or we're starving our body and putting ourselves in like a crisis mode internally. So TMI, but it's also very important to this conversation. I am in the very early stages of my follicular phase, I believe as well. So that's the phase right after your menstrual cycle. So right after you get your period, you're done your period. It's the first phase after. This is, from the research I found, the best time for women to do it. You can technically still do it during your ovulation phase because you naturally have more energy then, but this is kind of like that sweet spot for women. I personally feel like maybe that's why I'm feeling a lot of the benefits today, is because I wasn't like doing it on my period or doing it like right before your period. Don't recommend doing it right before your period. Like, just think about how you naturally want more food before your period, how you naturally are more tired and you don't feel like you have a lot of energy during your luteal phase. Probably wouldn't be the best to like literally deplete your body of any energy at all during that time. So that's when we did it. I feel like this was a really great time just from the hormone standpoint, but also like a good time because my body was coming off my period, right? So my energy was naturally rising. I was, getting back, like my body literally was like on the rise. So I feel like this was the perfect time to do it because my body was already in that motion of getting to like the top of the roller coaster is how I'm kind of thinking of it.
And I know that we touched a little bit on this, but I do want to say a big proponent for me for doing this fast was mainly the mental benefits, because if you've listened to our past episodes, December and January were particularly a very high stress months for me, high stress period. I feel like my cortisol was through the roof, and I know that fasting can really help regulate your stress hormones, can bring them back to that normal level, especially when your digestion is quieting because your blood sugar also stabilizes. So I feel like that those mental feelings that people feel, that clarity, that peace, that focus that people get from fasting, it's not an imaginary thing. It's actually systems in your body, like really bringing down those stress levels. Like I said, my cortisol was through the roof. Like it lowered my cortisol dramatically in a internal way. I feel like we look for a lot of ways to be at peace mentally by doing like external things, by grounding, going on walks and doing all of this. But this is like an internal way to kind of hack your systems to be less stressed. And that's really important because you can be stressed mentally, but there's also stress internally happening within your body.
Exactly. And I mean, what better way to just get a nice mental reset? Like that's the word I use for a fast is reset, because of obviously everything that's happening, like your body literally taking out the trash, resetting itself, but also like the mental reset. My mom texted us this morning, but like, of course you were like feeling great today too. You did something very hard. You did something that during it you didn't want to keep doing. You gave yourself that I can do hard things mentality, and yeah, just created a great mental push, I feel like, for today. And just, I don't know, I could go on to that I feel like for a while, just talking about the mental, but there's obviously reasons behind it. So not breaking down, but what did we do yesterday? Like what did we have in our bodies during the day? So obviously we didn't eat anything. That's like self-explanatory, fasting from food. Woke up in the morning, definitely we're focusing on staying hydrated, because obviously not eating anything, you're not giving your body any nutrients, like you're not absorbing anything. So making sure we were staying hydrated, probably could have drank more water. In all honesty, like looking back, I feel like I still didn't drink as much water. I just struggle in the winter months. I struggle when I'm cold to drink more water. It's a little hard. So we had water, of course. And then we also did have clear tea. So we had green tea, probably around like 11:30 noon as like our caffeine dose. Didn't do what I needed it to do. And then a ginger tea a little bit later in the day, like probably like 3 p.m. And then we did decide to incorporate bone broth. So we had a cup of bone broth around 4:30, and then a cup of bone broth at like 8:30, 9 p.m. after our workout class. So like I said, we did work out. We had a heated workout class. So we knew, okay, we need a little boost, which is why we incorporated the bone broth. And I feel like that gave literally life back into me.
Yeah.
It was the greatest cup of bone broth I've ever had in my entire life, that first sip. But so just to sum it all up, 2 cups of tea, lots of water. Oh, and we also incorporated electrolytes. Yeah. Which was a big thing as well for the dehydration portion.
One thing I want to say about why we drink clear teas and why the electrolytes you choose to drink matter is because whatever you're putting in your body, it can't have any calories almost. It can't have any carbs. It can't have any sugars in it, because the minute you give your body carbs through liquids, your body needs to kickstart and it needs to break down those carbs. It needs to break down the sugars that you just gave it. So for example, Element is an electrolyte, but they have sugars and carbs in them. No sugar. They have carbs, like 2 grams of carbs in them, but that would have broken our bodies fast.
Yeah, like normally we wouldn't think about that. I wouldn't even have cared about that. But in this sense, we flipped it over and we were like, oh shoot, we can't have these electrolytes. And we never have them in our house, but we got them from an event. So we were like, oh, let's have Element. And then we're like, thank goodness we didn't freaking just pour that in our water.
Yeah. And then with clear teas, the idea is that, if we were to have I don't know what the correct word, if we were to have had a black tea and then added milk to it, that would have then been something that our body had to break down, right? Because milk has nutrients in it that our body would need to break down. But that clear tea was just liquid with 0 calories, 0 anything in it. So our body could easily process that. Bone broth, it gets a little bit iffy because some people think bone broth is like breaking your fast. I don't. From what I've read about it, no, it's not that it's breaking your fast. It's that there is a little bit of protein in it, but it's like...
It's not a complete protein. Like, to be a complete protein, you need to have all 9 essential amino acids. Bone broth does not. So, I don't know.
From what I read, people were like, bone broth does not disrupt your body in a sense where it breaks your fast. Yeah, it's actually
it's actually really good, because so a lot of the fasting and the benefits of it are resetting your gut microbiome as well, and like your gut lining. Bone broth is like, I look at it as your gut's best friend, your gut lining's best friend. Like this morning before I ate anything, I had another cup of bone broth because I just wanted to line my gut with that. So I was still easing my digestion and not just like putting food into my body and being like, oh, look here, we're back working on digestion. So I just feel like it was a good combination for this. And again, it was a good little pick me up of like just the right amount of energy to be like, okay, I can do this. I'm drinking more than just freaking tea. And I feel like the hardest part for me was the headache that I was experiencing yesterday, and the bone broth really helped with that. Like, I don't know if that was a mental thing. Like, maybe it was just the idea that I was like tasting something different than tea and water, but I feel like that kind of settled it for a little bit, like for the time being.
I wonder if like the sodium in bone broth.
Probably. I mean,
that's what I felt like it was like feeding. I don't know. Like the water just felt so, everything tasted so bland to me yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that I struggle with in fasting is it's just a liquid diet, and like I just crave a bite of something all of a sudden. I mean, obviously, but it's just like so crazy to just be drinking stuff and never once like use your teeth to like chomp down on something. It's a really weird feeling. So why don't we get into like how we were feeling during the fast, just some things that you guys may expect if you've never fasted before. What happens within your body? Not what happens, like what physically are you feeling within your body?
And I think this will be different for everyone, but also I feel like kind of similar. Like I think if you listen to people, if people do longer than a 1 day fast, they always say the first day is the hardest. Like it's because you're kind of not shocking your body because it's over a long period, but I think it definitely is the hardest. So this was, I don't know if I said this, but this was my first time doing a fast. Isabel's done one
72 hours.
72 hours. So she kind of had a little glimpse of like what this day would feel like. For me, the hardest part I think was not having our coffee. Like not only from like a taste perspective of like, oh, I love our morning coffee, but I do get caffeine headaches if I don't have my coffee by like a certain time of the day. And there's sometimes when it happens just because my morning teaching schedule, I don't end up having my coffee until like 11:30 or noon. And I'll start to feel this subtle headache coming. So by the time it hit like 1 p.m., like even like 12 o'clock, 1 p.m., it was like full blown pounding headache. There was nothing I hate more than headaches. Like I'm a wimp when it comes to headaches. I will admit that. I hate them. Like I don't like a pounding feeling in my brain. I hate it. That was definitely the hardest part for me because I knew I was getting it mainly from a little bit of dehydration, but mainly from that caffeine withdrawal. Even though we had the green tea, didn't do what I needed it to do for my head.
I was actually kind of shocked about how I didn't really feel hungry. Like I didn't really have a lot of stomach growling or hunger pains. I feel like that kind of had something to do with me like mentally prepping for the fast. Like I was saying all day Sunday I'm gonna fast. So I feel like I don't know, I just like told my body like you're not getting food tomorrow. I don't know. If I did experience a hunger pain, it was early in the morning when my body would have been expecting food and then it didn't get it. And then I feel like once your body recognizes, like we said earlier, once it recognizes that you're not getting the food, it's like, okay, let me go find other places to pull from right now.
Exactly.
So I didn't really struggle with the hunger pains. I do think that would be normal for people in a sense of like if you're consistently eating on a time clock and then all of a sudden your body doesn't get it, it is going to signal those cues. So definitely expect them. If you push through them and just like kick in your discipline and get through that for like the next hour, they will stop. Like they don't carry on. Your stomach's not growling all day.
Like the entire day. And I feel like I was surprised by that. I didn't know what that was going to be like. And like you said, in the morning, that's when I started getting them around like breakfast time. And then when I had that cup of tea, they subsided. When I drank more water, they kind of subsided. And then I got them a little later in the afternoon and I looked at the clock and I was like, yep, this is like that window of the day where I normally will go get like a mini lunch or a mini snack and try and eat something before like my nighttime classes. Like it was exactly during that time that my body was like, go to the kitchen and get your food. It was literally like clockwork. Like I was like ready to go and I'm like, oh, well, I can't today. So, and then I had a cup of bone broth. The hunger pain subsided. It wasn't like you said, it wasn't like this painful thing that I was like, I'm starving all day long. Like I did not feel like I was withering away. Like that was kind of the easier situation for me. Like I said, it was more so the headache that I felt. And I feel like you had a headache kind of like it was.
I was
like,
gonna say, I feel like I had a headache pretty much all day. Not all day. I think like when it really got into like the 2 p.m. range and it was like, you haven't had anything today. I got the headache and the headache never went away. And that's what I experienced with my last fast, my 72-hour fast. I had that headache for 3 days straight. And I will say there's something about these headaches that are just 10 times worse. Like it is a pounding headache to me. It's never something that's like, oh, my head hurts. It's like I feel it like throbbing in my brain. Like, you know, when you like feel the pound, that's how it felt almost every time I like picked up my head. Like I was laying on the couch at night and I like stood up and I was like, oh my gosh, there's that headache.
I know.
And it just like really hurts. It's something that I feel like you just have to push through, because obviously you can't take Advil, you can't do any of that to like calm the headache. So I just always am just like, just get through it, just lay down. Sometimes I like pull my hair, like my scalp, to try and like calm the headache. But that was something that I really struggle with consistently throughout my fast, is I get that headache and it does not go away.
One of the benefits I experienced from the headache was this morning my alarm went off at like 6:30 and I had one set for 6:30 and 6:45, but the 6:31 went off and I still had my headache and it felt more prominent than it did going to bed. Like luckily I could just fall asleep. So I literally was like closing my eyes. I'm like, okay, you have like 15 minutes. I didn't need to get up at 6:30. I gave myself that window like on purpose, and I literally could not fall asleep. I was just like, my head is hurting. Like I just need to get up. I can't be in bed right now. I got right up, but I was like, okay, fine. I didn't have to snooze my alarm this morning. Didn't struggle getting out of bed for like the first time, and I feel like a while. Yeah, genuinely.
Well, that's like the interesting thing. We talked so much about mental clarity and the focus that kicks in, and I feel like that really doesn't come until after the 12-hour mark. Like that first 12 hours of fasting, I feel like you actually kind of feel more mentally foggy. I know for me, like I couldn't really focus yesterday during my work day. The headache was just bothering me. My mind was kind of all over the place. I just wasn't as dialed in, I think, because like what we said, you're not running on as much energy. Your body hasn't exactly tapped into all the stored nutrients that it has for you. So it's a really interesting feeling in the first 12 hours, but you feel a lot better after that.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely didn't have like the most energy all day, but I think you're right of like the first 12 hours were the hardest in terms of like the low energy standpoint. Like when we did the workout class, I honestly like forgot that I was fasting before that. I wasn't like in the class being like, oh wow, I can't move anything. Maybe the weights felt a little bit heavier to me, but like sometimes that happens to me on a random night anyway. When I
definitely felt weak in my workout class.
A little bit weaker, but it wasn't like so obvious where I was like, I can't even lift up these weights. Like I was still, curling the 8 pounds. We had 50, we were still lifting weight, but it definitely.
I actually felt weaker though, in a sense. Like you're right, I definitely still did it, but I felt really weak in a sense where like almost like I had no strength in my body. I don't know. It was weird. Like I went to go do push-ups and I like went to push myself up and I was like, it doesn't feel like there's any muscle there that can push me up. Maybe because I wasn't feeding my muscles. I don't know. It was just like a really weird feeling. I definitely felt like very weak and my body didn't have the strength to do the moves that I was doing.
And I also have to say I do get a bigger adrenaline kick because I'm leading the class. So like physically my adrenaline is always pumping higher when I'm teaching because I'm like, up there, I'm the one telling you to do everything. So like I kind of have to be able to demo this move right now. Hence why we did child's pose push-ups and not
I was so grateful. I was so grateful.
Regular last night, I was like, heck no, I'm not demoing a full body push-up right now. I don't think I can. So we did child's pose instead. Anyway, so that's during the day, I definitely felt like it wasn't my greatest day, right? Like I wasn't like the most productive. I feel like where I'm seeing more benefits is now today, almost in terms of the energy and clarity. Like I definitely woke up today and let's start from the top. When I woke up today, again, I had that headache. And even when I was brushing my teeth, like I definitely was starting to feel a little shaky. Like I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh yeah, wow, I do feel like depleted right now. And I wasn't expecting to feel that way. Like I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. And then is when I planned to have half a banana with some honey plus, which are like the energy honey packets that we'll have. So we put a little bit of that on a banana before we did our workout, and that felt really good. Like I feel like I needed a little carb in me to combat some of that shakiness that I was feeling. It was just like clearly my body was low on energy. But I did wake up and have some bone broth before I did that, just because I was like, I feel like I can't just like jump to food. I don't know. It was also like 7 a.m. So I was like not prepared to eat a banana at 7 a.m. I was like, so I had a little bone broth. Like probably like had 3 sips before I ended up eating the banana, but I definitely did feel a little shaky. But again, not to the point where I was like, whoa, I can't function. It was just like, I also knew mentally like I was going downstairs to eventually have food. So I feel like my body was just like, I told myself, you're eating in the morning, you're going to eat before your workout. So I knew that it was coming.
Well, I feel like all those physical effects too are signs of the fast working in your body. Like it's signs that your systems are doing what it's supposed to do.
You're not going to feel like nothing while
like
your
you should feel like
that.
If you feel fine without food, then why do we even eat food in the first place? Like your body should definitely be feeling some type of way, especially when, like we said, it's kind of shocking your body in a way you've never done something like this before. One more thing I want to say is that Kateri mentioned I have done a fast before. I did a 72-hour fast during Holy Week, Lent 2025. And that was really it wasn't a battle, but like the first, it was a battle. It was just like
after going to bed last night,
3 days was long.
Yeah, I said to my mom as well, because they both did it. I was like, I actually don't. Now I know for sure that like I'm not doing the 3-day fast this year. Like
it was just like a weird feeling. Like it was a really weird feeling not consuming anything for 3 days other than liquids. It was just like, I don't even know how I felt. I kind of felt like in a trance every single day.
Yeah.
But I will say doing that fast one time, like having fasted before, set up my mind so much coming into this fast. Like yesterday when we were fasting, yes, of course I wanted my coffee, but like it was very easy for me to be disciplined because I was just like, oh, I can get through this. And I feel like that's what your first fast teaches you. So if you're scared and intimidated by it, you need to just do it because you'll prove yourself that you can do it. And then like every time I go to fast now, I'm like, oh, I've done that before. Like I put my body through that 24-hour period. I know what it's going to feel like. I know I can do something like that. Like it kind of just gives you that, what's it called? I don't know, confidence that you'll be able to do it again. So I definitely wasn't going through the fast thinking like, oh my God, like I'm not going to be able to do this for 3 more hours. Like I remember the first day of my 72-hour fast, I was like, there's no way I can do this for 3 days. This fast, I was like, if I had to keep going, I know I could. So it was just a weird confidence that the first fast I've ever done gave me that this fast didn't feel as hard.
Yeah.
Not that it didn't feel as hard. It just didn't feel like it was something even going on. It was like, okay, I'm fasting today.
Yeah. I mean, like wake up this morning. Yes, I could have been like, I can definitely keep going. Needless to say, I was very happy that we weren't. Like,
yeah, no, I definitely didn't want to keep going.
I was like, thank goodness we are not doing this any longer. But then at the same time, coming out of it, having eaten now like clear-headed, I am so beyond happy that we did it. Like truthfully, that's how I feel. Like there is not a minute of it that I regret. I'm so happy that we decided to do it. I feel like my body's like in thank you mode of like, yes, thank you for giving me that reset, that break. And I'm not saying I feel like on top of the world. I don't have like, I'm like Superman all of a sudden, but I just feel like internally my body's like, yes, we did need that. And you know your body, you know, if you feel like you could benefit from this, I feel like you kind of also have to go about it a little bit intuitive as well. Like it did help a lot to have Isabel doing it, but it would have sucked. It would have sucked if she wasn't. Obviously, like if I saw her drinking coffee, like I probably would have slapped it out of her hand. But at the same time, like if I did have to do it alone, and like I feel like I just would have listened to my body being like, you need to do this. But Isabel was the one that even brought it into my mind in the first place. So I was just like grateful to have someone else kind of doing it with me. If you have someone else in the household that you live with, try and get them to do it with you. It does help to be able to like push through. Like we were on the couch last night, both drinking the bone broth, not eating dinner with the rest of the family. I had someone else to be like, damn, I really want that, but we can do it. Like now we're in the back half. We can do this.
Okay, moving briefly into like a new topic to discuss, not exactly the fast that we did or benefits of fasting, more so just fasting in general. One thing I just want to share is that fasting does not need to be particularly from food. As we said, this was something that we were craving for our bodies. All those benefits are from fasting from food. But I just want to pose the idea of like, you can decide to fast from anything in your life whenever. Like I feel the need to do a social media fast coming up soon. Maybe like a noise fast where I just go to retreat and sit 24 hours, like just my silence. I just feel like there's so many different things that you can fast from in life other than food. So you just have to pay attention to like what your body is really craving or your mind is craving.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point because in our world, we're just so inundated with so much all the time. And maybe it's fasting from shopping, from buying something. Maybe it's fasting from, like you said, social media, from noise, from podcasts. Like sometimes I get in the car and I find myself like immediately going to, I listen to the Toast, play their podcast, The Skinny Confidential, or play music. And I'm like, sometimes I just recognize myself. I'm like, let me just fast for this hour car ride that I'm in, not play anything and see where it takes me. And I feel like sometimes when you are almost like, it's when you feel like you're addicted to just naturally doing something. Like we felt like we were addicted to like naturally, it's Friday night, it's Saturday night, like let's grab the snacks. Let's make the, like the healthy brownies and get everything going. We were in that routine and getting addicted to that routine. And that can happen a lot with other things in life very easily, especially social media, especially noise. It's just such like a quick like dopamine hit. So pulling back from that as well is when I like a detox from social media one day, and it was like the greatest thing ever. Like not going on social media. Yes, it was hard, but because it also like showed me how much I pick up my phone to go on it without me even realizing what my purpose behind it was. So pulling back in that way was like a great feeling. And I feel like this could be, if you're like, okay, I don't want to do a food fast, maybe try this type of fast.
Yeah, because that does effects on your mind in ways that you wouldn't even imagine. It literally like clears your mind. It clears your pathways. I swear, the noise and the constant social media just like constantly interrupts your train of thought. Like I notice that when I do fast from noise or I do fast from social media, I have like a really consistent stream of thinking where it's really crisp thoughts, but it's because the thoughts are never interrupted. And most of the time when I'm having a thought and then I open up Instagram, it like completely, like a new thought pops in and I don't remember that old thought. And I only find that happening when I'm constantly filling myself with noise. And then one more thing I just want to say about fasting is, in terms of like spiritually fasting, something I find really beautiful. It's kind of random to like throw it in here at the end, but a lot of people will talk about fasting because it's very biblical to fast. Jesus fasted in the desert for 40 days. Literally can't fathom that. I cannot fathom that.
I'm over here saying I could never do a 3-day fast. Our man did 40.
40. He did 40. But one of the most beautiful things I find about that, and what kept me going during the fast, this is particularly what kept me going during the 72-hour fast that I did, was fasting in terms of in relationship to God, is when you remove stuff from your life. That's why I say it can be more than just food. When you remove stuff from your life that you're dependent on and make room for you to depend on him. So a lot of the times we eat food to fuel our workout. We eat food to fuel our bodies throughout the day to bring us that clarity. And it's like removing that food allowed me to enter prayer with the Lord and be like, Lord, I need you to give me the strength in this workout. I need you to give me the strength to move throughout this day. Another example is social media. Like sometimes I feel like that's my joy, going on social media and being able to scroll at night.
Or you have a spare minute.
Yeah. Like I want to go do that. And that's what brings me happiness. And I feel like when you fast from it, it helps you see that's not what should be bringing me happiness. I should be finding my peace and joy within the Lord.
It even gives you the time to do it, right? Because you're removing that. If you're in the car and you're fasting from the noise. Okay, I'm sitting in silence right now. What else? I'm going to pray. I'm going to turn to prayer because I have this time. I might as well pray. Same thing without night. Like you're laying in bed, you can't scroll on social media. You can turn to God, pray the rosary, say a personal prayer, read the Bible. Like it leaves room for it as well. And going off of that, last night literally in class, we were in our savasana. So like the last couple minutes of class, and literally just this like immense gratitude popped into my mind, and I knew it came from God too, because I literally was like, I'm so grateful for everything you've given me, God. Like it was something just in that moment. And I literally was almost like, whoa, I feel like not eating today, like literally opened up my mind to be able to hear you more. And it was in that moment that I literally, like, as people are in class, like I'm having these thoughts going through my mind of starting just list some of the crazy, amazing, beautiful things that have happened for Ismael and I already in 2026. And I started listing them in my mind, and it made me even be like, whoa, you need to start saying these things out loud more. Like start saying you're grateful for these things. Yes, you might in the moment, but like don't forget about them too. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it was about that moment. I don't know why in that moment it popped up. Even just being like, I'm so grateful that I got to lead this class, that I get to do this. Like I always feel like that after class, but in particular last night, it was like super loud to the point where I like started listing things and was like, whoa, you got to end this class before you get in your own trance. Okay, get out. Like I
literally really fell asleep on the mat. So
like I like really had to pull back. But yeah, I feel like that was, because we had talked about that going into it, like fasting allows you to like hear God, dive a little bit deeper spiritually. Like it leaves room for him. But I didn't like expect anything of it. I wasn't like thinking that was going to happen. And then I feel like I really got to experience it last night. And
I just think that's when like God meets you the most. Like he meets you in the stillness, but he also meets you in your emptiness.
Well,
and that's why I love physically fasting. That's why people say it has to be a physical fast from food, because your body, your temple is almost empty. That the only thing that can fill it is like the Holy Spirit. No, that's how I feel.
I literally found myself even praying more yesterday. Like I'm now just coming to this realization when I think about the day. I had to drive and get my nails done in the middle of the day. Normally I don't do that every day, so I'm not in the car, whatever. Don't need to go into that. But I literally prayed there and home without even like telling myself like, oh, you're going to pray in the car. Like it just naturally started happening. And I'm just now realizing that happened yesterday. You know what I mean? I feel like it it just naturally became more of my day without putting the pressure. Like I wasn't like, oh, you need to pray more because you're not eating, so God needs to fill you up. Like no, it just happened naturally.
Yeah. So that's another little fun thing, beautiful thing that comes from fasting. You can do it spiritually, you can do it for physical benefits. I like to think when I do it, it happens for both. So that's I mean, it is happening for both. If you're a spiritual person, it is happening for those spiritual reasons as well. I'm definitely gonna, and that's why when people say like fasting's not good for like females, I'm always like, I don't really care how it affects my health, or like if it just affects my hormones, because if I'm doing it for the Lord, like that's the sacrifice that I make.
Also, if it were like so bad for females, there'd be no females on the world, like on the planet, that fast, and like there are so many that talk about it. So I'm just like, got to take some things with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Here. Like I
understand our hormone health is like important, but like take care of it in other ways. I'm not
eat for 5 days, but like I'm also like, if I could, I know like I would be okay. I know God would get me through, and like my body would be okay. But again, depends what type of, maybe you're trying to get pregnant this year. Fasting probably not the greatest thing for your body. Fuel yourself, right? Like there's a time and place for everything. We won't keep going down that path, but we probably could. So that was just our kind of experience with fasting. Obviously, very new to it, very like top of mind experience. If anyone has any questions, maybe it's a little bit more about like how we were feeling, what tea we drank specifically, things like that, please feel free to reach out as always. And like I said, I think this is something that I would like to try and incorporate more. I'm not going to say I'm not doing it weekly. Maybe I will do it like once a month type of thing, especially in like the phase that I'm in right now of my cycle. Just try and do it, because I do feel like getting in the habit of doing it on a recurring basis would be even more beneficial as well. Like not waiting my whole life to do it, to reset my body, like maybe trying to incorporate it more. But again, going with what my body feels as well.
Something we don't want you to fast from is from this podcast. So if you would continue to watch and support our videos, to like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this video and this podcast with a friend, follow us on Instagram at Everything Kraus, at No Sugar Pod, at Sculpted with Gatiri, which is almost at 10,000 followers. Like, are you there?
Literally,
let's check. Let's check live on the feed.
Oh my gosh, 9,817.
9,817. Kateri is on the run. That is going to be at 100K.
Literally on the run.
That is going to be at 100K in 2 months.
Views.
Mark my words. 100K in 2 months, everyone. You hear it? 2 months from the state.
That's crazy work.
I don't know, dude. She's
I don't know if I can handle that.
I think you could. Anyway, follow there, because that's on the come up, and you're going to want to see a lot of great workouts, a lot of great Pilates inspired movements there. We love you all so much. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your week.
Yes, I was going to say that, and then she said it. Anyway, we hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you next time.